Wait a minute. Yak Gotti beat every single count in the entire YSL Rico trial over all that time, and you telling me he's still in custody of Fulton County right now to this day for probation, revocation, and violation? Let that sink in. Even more interesting, on his birthday, before the end of the actual trial, y'all remember the gift that was given to him by the judge? Ask yourself, did the judge know that the state actually had another plan in the end? Man. If you new, make sure y'all hit that notification bell, that like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grab a seat, we finna dig deep. What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host Jay, and man, today we gotta dig deep into some breaking developments in this Yak Gotti situation. Now, if you thought the drama actually ended just because he beat the YSL Rico trial, man, we definitely gotta think again, because somehow, remember at the end of that trial, we heard the attorneys all say, this fight is far from over. So is this what they meant when they said that then? Now here's the deal. Yak is actually still being held on probation, violation, or revocation. But here's the kicker to make it even deeper. Ask yourself, why did the state wait until the entire YSL trial to throw this at him? Think about it. Was it intentionally done? Were they playing the long game, waiting for the perfect moment to actually pounce and use this to their advantage? Now, another situation we definitely got to dig deep in is when the state actually played Caleb B when it came to the situation with Yak almost being free. Let's dig.
And if you don't mind, I'm going to condense both the cases into one argument.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. As this honorable court, I'm pretty sure it knows, Mr. Kendrick has been in custody since May 9th, 2022. He has since been found not guilty on the charges that initially had him in custody. During those 2.5 years, he picked up these additional jail cases. The first case was picked up, as you stated, in April of 2023, the second in June of 2024.
So clearly, no secret, he definitely caught more charges while he's been incarcerated through this whole situation and over this time. Is it expected? Potentially. Look at what he was facing. Look at how the actual state used this actual case and open old wounds. Well, is that expected? Sometimes in life, you gotta defend yourself. It's not about right or wrong, it's about fight or flight. Now, even more interesting if you pay attention, the attorney came in here, Caleb B, specifically speaking, came in ready. Why? Because here, as you see, one of these charges she's actually already put in the paperwork in, and he's actually already got bond for. But even deeper, how the state actually just sat here and used something against a missing warrant, a warrant somewhere in the system. Come to find out, it's a warrant from 2015, and here it is 2025. So everybody's preparing for the new stuff, but the state is 10 years back. Man, that's interesting. But even deeper, watch how the actual prosecutor of the state painted this picture of Yak to be. Now, whether it's true or false, at the end of the day, he's still entitled to a fair process. Let's dig.
The defendant was convicted in a Fulton County Superior Court case, indictment number 15 SC 140116, and was convicted of 6 charges: conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, participation of criminal street gang activity, theft by receiving, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act, fleeing and attempting to elude, and possession of a firearm by convicted felon. In that particular case, the defendant was found to be in possession of a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson handgun, as well as an AK-47 in a vehicle, where he and his co-defendant in that particular case were on their way to a rival gang member's territory to commit a retaliation assault based on some prior actions. And that is the statement of Mr. Kendrick himself to law enforcement during the investigation of that particular case.
Can you give me that case number again, please?
Yes, Your Honor, 15 SC 140116, and it does appear that he is on active probation for that particular case, having been sentenced to a 15 years to serve 2 sentences, with the balance of the first 8 years on probation, with the remaining last 5 years being suspended. In addition to that, Judge, we believe the defendant is a risk to reoffend based on his criminal history. We believe he's a danger to the community based on the fact that when he was arrested on May 9th, 2022, in between May 9th, 2022, and this date, the defendant has at least 13 reported jail incidents while in the custody of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. Of those 13 incidents, 10 are allegations of violence, and 3 are allegations of possession of contraband. And those include the indicted cases before the court today, which the defense is seeking a bond hearing. And many of those cases, there are other witnesses that came forward, including the most recent one on December 1st, 2024, where the allegations that the defendant was stabbed. Well, he was stabbed, and according to what another witness said, both a correction officer and an inmate, because the defendant went up to the inmate and started assaulting him. And I guess from the inmate's perspective, he needed to defend himself. Not that I agree that he should have been in possession of a weapon in the jail, but those are the allegations that have been put forth in this particular case. In every single one of those acts, violent incidents that the jail has reported, the defendant, through investigation as well as testimony or statements from other inmates, have pointed him to being the perpetrator of the assault. And so while I certainly understand everyone is talking about the conditions of the jail, Exhibit A is before you as to why it's unsafe. So, Judge, we're respectfully asking the court to deny bond. We believe that the defendant is a danger to the community, a risk to reoffend, and a potential risk of flight given the circumstances of his arrest on May 9th, 2022, when he fled the scene after a search warrant was executed on the residence where the defendant was at the time.
Do you have any visibility into whether your office is going to be bringing other cases from these other incidents? And I ask not to press or speed anything, but more so for management, frankly. I mean, Ms. Bumpus needs to know what she and her client are up against. And I know that your office exercises discretion and doesn't indict every little scuffle that happens at the jail. Is it safe to assume that your office has filtered through that and we've got the two cases, the contraband and the assault? Or what's your sense? I know you're not committing the office, you're not in that unit, but you do have some managerial perspective.
From my understanding, Judge, there is one unindicted case that's been brought to our office. So I'm going to take a look at that and make a determination. With respect to the other ones, without committing anything to the court, I don't believe we'll be going forward on any of those.
Okay. So they would be at most, if Mr. Kendrick would go to trial, could be 404B or could be linked to one of these other situations, or it would be something in aggravation at a bond hearing or a sentencing hearing. These are your best forecasts with maybe one exception.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She, now 13 incidents while in custody and on probation going through a RICO, definitely deep. And to introduce this now, I ask, is this just perfect timing? And speaking of timing, let's talk about when Judge Whitaker during the YSL trial actually gave Yak that actual birthday gift. Literally. Was this why the gift was actually given so freely? Did she already know that the state had another card up their sleeve that would keep Yak from actually walking out of Fulton County as a free man? I mean, that gift was more of a farewell to freedom than a genuine justice, or am I wrong? It comes off as if the judge and the state actually had this whole thing planned out from the start. Let's dig.
First, with regard to the ruling on the motions for directed verdict. So both the state and the defense requested and have gotten a trial in this case before a jury. Is not before the court as a bench trial. So that means that this court is not the trier of fact. And the standard, as you all know, for a motion for directed verdict is not the beyond a reasonable doubt standard, that what the jury is going to be determining the facts on when the case is given to them. The standard at the stage of motion for directed verdict is that all of the evidence is to be viewed in the light that is most favorable to the prosecution, and doing it in that way, looking at it in that way, is there any evidence from which a rational trier of fact could find the essential elements of the crimes that are charged. So with regard to the motion for directed verdict on counts 1, 2, trying to do these in order. Now let me just do it this way. I am denying the motion for directed verdict on all counts except I'm granting a motion for directed verdict as to count 59, count 60, and count 62. I do not believe that the elements of that, even viewing in the light most favorable to the prosecution, there's evidence upon which a rational trier of fact could find the essential elements of possession of those particular items. And let me say that with regard to counts 2 and 49, again, is not a beyond a reasonable doubt standard that the court is required to employ in determining a directed verdict as to those counts. I understand the arguments, but it is up to the jury to determine credibility of witnesses, and it's up to the jury to determine what witnesses or what parts of testimony they might believe and what witnesses or parts of testimony they might not believe. So if there is evidence presented that a jury chooses to believe.
So let's stop the cap. We all saw, watched, and witnessed Yak Gotti was the only defendant in this entire trial that was not actually charged with anything with this YSL RICO trial. But did we just not hear the state use every incident in his revocation of probation hearing from the trial? Let that sink in. Was the state playing chess? Now, even more interesting, this man beat all of these charges, and he's had to go do what? Hire a whole new defense team. But this is where it gets good. Let's dig. Now, even after all the money, time that was spent in his previous trial on the previous defense, this man has had to go and get what? A whole nother team. But this is where it gets good. As I said, if you followed the YSL trial, you will definitely recognize this new team, and it's definitely a strong one. Bruce Harvey and Miss Westmoreland. Now, there was a new motion filed for a substitute of counsel, and these two are his new defense. Now, they definitely had a successful turn of events in the YSL trial when they represented Marquavius Nichols. Now, Mr. Nichols is definitely doing his time, but hey, compared to what he was facing, that time is light. That man got a new start, but will Yak actually get that same opportunity? Will this duo finally break the chains that are keeping Yak in Fulton County? Let that sink in. So let's dig a little deeper. Ask yourself these three questions. 1. Did the state intentionally wait until after the YSL tried to target Yak Gotti? 2. What's the real reason behind Judge Whitaker's birthday gift to Yak Gotti? And 3, most importantly, can Bruce Harvey and Miss Westmoreland actually do better the second time around than they did on the first? Now, as you see, this actual situation with Yak Gotti is definitely far from over. My personal opinion, may be the end of the year, hopefully, before he actually gets released. Now it's even more interesting because, as you see, Kayla B, definitely got to salute to her, the entire defense team, everybody that's been showing up and representing. Because think of how much money, time, that this is actually costing and wasting to keep on fighting these same frivolous cases. Like, let that sink in. But she did actually do the legwork with her Harvey, and Westmoreland actually be able to set Yak free. Ask yourself that. Now the state is definitely willing to go to any extreme at this point, in my personal opinion, just to prove a point. He beat the state. Now, 2 times is good. 3rd time, questionable. Will he actually be one of the defendants that actually ends up stuck with a plea that doesn't actually be released? Beat the entire case of the entire RICO trial, but stuck on probation from the state? Now think about this, he's still in here doing time, so he is gonna get a lot of time commuted. But how much time was he actually facing? Interesting. Let's dig.
All right, we'll keep moving. Mr. Harvey, come back and see me when you have an announcement.
I've got one announcement, Your Honor.
Not ready?
Well, I don't know which case you're talking about, but there's a camera here.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it has anything to do with one of my cases. And if it does, I'm objecting to it. There's been no notice to us. There's been no hearing. I don't know whether any order has been entered. I haven't been provided an order. So I have a problem
Okay.
with the presence over the camera.
Okay, well, we'll take it up in a little while.
So that's my first objection.
Okay.
My next one is a notice of intent to whine, no matter what it is.
Well, I've
Okay.
Bruce, we've known each other for over 40 years.
Judge, if there's a note, and if we can address the Kendrick situation so we can move on.
All right.
Ryle, don't leave.
No, we're talking about the other matter.
Okay, well, as far as Rule 22 goes, I understand that it was filed and decided before you made an appearance.
Okay, well, we're still, I think the rule says after notice and hearing.
All right.
Doesn't it?
I don't know if there's a hearing or not. Okay, I'll reread it,
Okay, please.
and we'll be in touch. Don't leave the courthouse.
No, I was waiting to go see Mr. Byrd, and
Okay.
we're gonna talk with everybody with regard to the other matter.
Okay. All right.
And I still have my 2 witnesses here.
Okay, good. Are you working with Mr. Harvey?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Attorney Nicole Westmore.
Okay, Ms. Westmoreland. All right, nice to meet you.
She's the brains and beauty. I'm just the aging boy, it's cold out there kind of guy. You know, I thought this morning that if you're over 70, you should be exempted from coming out in any weather that's below 30 degrees.
Really? Good luck with that one.
I was looking for you.
So let's talk about it. What's y'all's thoughts with the actual defense team? Bruce Harvey, Miss Westmoreland. In my opinion, solid move for Yak. Now, will they actually be able to get him out scot-free? Absolutely not. He's already still serving time, so there's no such thing at this point as scot-free. So let's dig. Ask yourself this. Was that gift from the judge to Yak a gift or a curse? You ever heard the term a gift and a curse? Was it both? How diabolical would that be? Everybody said it was a fair decision. Now, in my personal opinion, I feel like this was an actual play from the state from the beginning. This was actually insurance on Yak Gotti. The firearms that they mentioned, the revocation to keep him in custody, Fulton County, full constraint, under their watch, their protection and safety. Was it a play? In my opinion, absolutely. Now, I want to hear from y'all. What y'all think? Is Yak Gotti actually getting a fair opportunity to go through this trial? Or is he actually getting railroaded by the system right now? Now, granted, they did say some of these events, he was the alleged aggressor. But after you've been locked in the system so long with so many open wounds, beat so many different charges and cases, not saying that he's a saint, but hey, was some of this caused by the state? Y'all make sure y'all hit that notification bell, hit that like button if you haven't, subscribe to the channel, definitely tap the notification bell so you won't miss a drop. And y'all make sure y'all jump in the comments, let me know y'all's thoughts. Is this case far from over? Should he be released? Or are we watching the actual state play chess with the last YSL defendant that beat the state? 2 times? Good. 3? Y'all know the vibes. The next time, the greater the height, the greater the weight. I'm your host, Jay, and remember, the life you save might be your very own. Till next time, gone.